Hi everyone, you're watching Jana FX, and in this video I'm going to make technical analysis for the coming week. But first of all, let me introduce the sponsor of this video, simplefx.com, which offers Forex and cryptocurrency CFDs trading. You can see this site right now on my screen, and the links to simplefx.com you can find in the description under this video. Okay guys, so let's start with technical analysis, and this week was a really great trading week. Easy 500 pips profit, no losing trade. And of course, as usual, I'm going to show you what the possibilities some could have had this week, and of course what we will be looking for the coming week. So we are starting with euro dollar. As usual, there is 1 hour chart, and this is what I would do this week. We had this was the previous week, not very much movements, let's say, and this last week was the most important, of course, news event. As you remember, you watch my videos, I always tell you what we are looking for and concentrating on. So news event was one of the most priority, right? And which you always have to make notes about in the diary, or make marks on the screen, just like I showed you in previous videos. So well, how would I would look at euro dollar this previous week? So you see, Monday we had the beginning of the week was absolutely nothing. I had this support level, let's say, and the market was sitting in here, so it had a quite good movement on Monday. Not sure what was it, maybe some comments or anything else. So, but you know, usually Mondays for me are days off when it's not day off, usually Monday is a watching day to see what's happening, how the market behaves. And so for me, for example, of course I would miss that trade. And you see the market was slow. Tuesday moved down back to the level, so it was concentrating around this level. And before the news event, you remember the major news event for the US on Friday, of course, this is where the market prepared absolutely wonderful for the news. You can see, so that's what I'm trying to always point you out. This is what I look for always. So I have one great level here, which is you can see uptrend, right? And then before the news, we are going on the smaller charts. Remember, I told you that I'm trading usually 15 minutes and 30-minute charts. I'm mostly trading on, and this is your 15-minute chart. This is absolutely perfect channel preparation before the news event. So this is like double signal, let's say, one level and here is the other. So I'm not just drawing it, you can see it here, right? That's our another level. So, and you can see where it's breaking, mostly where they're crossing each other, right? So it's plus minus always, but one of my trading systems for news events, and this is absolutely perfect. And here we are is what, about 140 pips, which is easy 100 pips profit. So why I'm saying 100, not 140 exactly, like many could say, oh yes, like 150 I could make here. No, because you know that always I place the orders below about 20 pips, maybe 25 sometimes, depends, and of course placing the trailing stops, and also depends what the slippage could be at the news events, and of course the spread. So that's why I'm saying I didn't trade, because you know I'm on holiday right now, but I'm sure if I would be, it would be 100 pips, at least clear profit on that movement, because it was very smooth. You see there are no spikes back up. This is just the best what can happen at the news event. So that's, you see, euro dollar easy, waiting for a week and preparing for the news event, and this is the perfect example of the news event trading. So, and of course right now what I would be looking for example, the market moved down, now it's like reaction on the news, of course. First thing, okay, now it's going to have possibly a little correction, consolidation, so many would look for possibly creation of the pattern, could be a flag or maybe a pennant or a little triangle. So now it all depends what is it going to create, and because it is in the channel up trend channel, and at the same time the market was going up for quite a while again. The market can go any directions from here, right? So it's either can again go up, continue, or can change the trend and go down. So as it's in the middle again between two levels, let's say it here, we have 200 up and about 200 down. So I will be waiting for consolidation, just like I said, and placing the orders both directions. So very easy with euro dollar. So that's how I would look at it. And now we're going, of course, for the best, it would be better if we would actually go a little bit low to that level, but right now you can see it's actually stopped quite right in the middle between these two. So that's what I'm saying. Well, and again, as you can see, that would be one of the targets, and the other level at the bottom here would be the other target. So, and then slowing down, if, for example, there will be movements this week and they will reach those levels again, waiting for any consolidation around those levels or this level, and again, placing the orders both directions, either going up, down, and here the same, either up or down. So that's how it is, easy to not miss a good trade, right? Placing the orders both directions, but always waiting for some consolidations or patterns. So that's how I'd look at euro dollar, easy. Now we're looking at pound dollar, which is a 30-minute chart. Right now, this is what we had a week before, and this is our previous week, right? And we start again, look at Monday. You see, we had really good consolidation around this level, right? Important level, and then market jumped up. So for me, again, I would probably miss this trade, except it's very nice area, very nice level, strong, and then it was sitting in this consolidation right before news for pound, right? So that was absolutely perfect. Another perfect consolidation, perfect channel, what we're looking for. So here, another nice trade, no spikes or anything, so it's easy. You see it's about also 100 pip drop, so it would be easy, probably 50 pips to get from that trade. And now we can see good consolidation again before the American news, also very perfect channel, and another probably 100 pip drop, which is also would give me again at least 50-60 pips profit. So as I'm saying, depends on what the spread could have been during the news event. So, but looking how smooth it moved, so I would think it probably would have been perfectly fine. So it's another 100 pips on euro, on the pound dollar. So you can see it's already 200 pips. You can see there would be no way of losing trade here. It's just perfect movements. So what is it now? Look how pound sit around those levels, important levels, which we had for a while. And so if I'll go on a weekly view, that we can see still that pound did not come out from the downtrend channel. You see, we have a big downtrend channel, and it's just a candle is right here, little wing out there. So you see, that's what I was saying to you. This is very important area, because it's kind of we'll be trying to get out from this area and trying to pick up the direction, right? So there is a possible direction of continue that uptrend. Of course, possibly will go down and continue the uptrend. At the same time, it might be still in downtrend channel, so it might also turn around, go down, and continue the downtrend. So at that point, like either way, you, of course, the first thing come to the mind that it should go down at least to this level again, to that 127.701 roughly. So doesn't matter if it's an uptrend or downtrend. So this is what first thing would be coming to the mind, right? And at the same time, as it sits here, then possibly can have a break and reach that level. So you see, it's kind of very, very complicated around here. So many important levels where pound could be jumping and stopped by. So that's why we're going on a small charts. We kind of know the picture, and you see that's how it was helpful, the levels before. And now we can see that the market broke most all the levels and like give us the clear picture that it should continue the way down, right? So that's how it looks like. So let's go back to daily chart so you can see where this level come from. So that's the bottom, the level, and that's another level. I used it before. You can see previously. So that's also kind of the channel for me, in my view. And well, obviously it was treated, you can see, by pound like a channel. So we had it here, then it's broke, come back again, sit around this area again, and now it's coming back again to this area. So at that point, of course, I would look for consolidation again. Of course, in perfect position, we have drop, a bit of consolidation, drop, hopefully a bit of consolidation, and continue drop to the next level, and waiting for another consolidation, hopefully continue the way down. But you know, Forex, anything can happen. It can go like this, which would have been absolutely wonderful, but at the same time, it can turn around. Just like I did here, it went down, it's even broke it and was sitting a bit and then went up again. So that's why, again, I would wait for any consolidation around this area, and I would be placing both directions orders, buy and sell. At that point, looking for both, and possibility to either go, this would be again a target, for example, you see it's about 130 pips, and it's about well, 180 pips down. So I'm taking that point, but actually from here it is about the same distances. You see that how the market likes to stop often in the middle, right? So giving us like a view that it is a possibility to go both directions, which means possibility to earn, right? So as long as it goes one of the other directions, it's always possibility to make profit. And so possibly, of course, it can, well, that's what we were saying, it can create a pennant or can create a flag. So it might go a little bit here and sit around these areas. Well, it might, of course, with opening on Monday, it might jump straight away. So all the possibilities, for example, again, like I usually try to say, this would be the perfect if like opening the market and Monday slow movements and creating a really nice channel. It's a 4-hour chart. Let's go on a smaller chart again, because you can see it started to create, but of course, as I'm saying, it can jump straight away. Then I would personally, if it will have a jump any other directions, then I would wait until it will get to one of the channels of the levels, and then waiting for consolidation. So that's what just want to remind you again, because usually I do mention it in my videos that if it jumps one another, just wait. I would wait for get it to the levels better. So that's easy view, and easy now 100 pips on pound dollar. Going to Australian dollar now, and so what do we have here? Well, okay, let's go to 1-hour chart so we can see all those levels. You can see it's been sitting around those levels, and that's what we had again Monday. You can see it reached our level, right? Was stopped by it. So you see how it's well went up to this level a little bit again, come out and broke it, and slowly again prepared for news event and went down. So here, well, would have been possibility, maybe wouldn't be very good for me. I mean, okay, yes, it's broke that level, for example. We had like a little false break here, then it was stopped a few times, and finally it's broke it, right? So it could have been possibility a bit risky to go for this trade. Personally, I probably wouldn't go. I mean, it's a Tuesday. I do like Tuesday trades, and possibly, but you see, well, okay, went down, it was sitting in here, and luckily with the news event, it's actually continued the way down. So yes or no, I think personally I wouldn't go for this trade. So if you go on the 15-minute chart and see how the market prepared for the news event, when also you can see it's not a bad channel here, but again for me it's not long enough like in the other pairs you saw when it was a bit longer starting from here. So well, yes, no, I wouldn't count this. Is it? Well, yes, it is. It was a really nice trade, like what, about 70 pips, so possibly now like 50 pips. Could have go for it, but you know, if I was already placing the trades for like euro, pound, and there are other pairs you'll see in a minute, then I probably wouldn't go for this, but depends for some of you who would. It also was quite good movement. You can see again the levels do work, the price action works, and the news events all worked out quite well. So now it kind of does look like the same went down. Now maybe a bit of consolidation waiting for it, maybe create something like this, maybe it will be flag, maybe it will be pennant, and again both directions placing the orders. And so what do we have here? I wanted you to pay attention on. I'm going to remove these levels. Now you're going to see why I'm doing this. I don't need them anymore. So that's how we do. They walked out. So no use for them. And what do you see here now? What does it look like? It looks like head and shoulder. So it does look like head and shoulders pattern maybe started to create. But, well, who knows? Because look at these wings. There's also wings, which means, well, the market is not sure what it wants to do. Does it want to continue up? Because we come out from a big triangle, right? And we have like very strong levels here. It looks like it's an uptrend channel, but maybe it's time to turn around for a correction because it's been walking all the way without correction at all. So that's why, of course, now it shows us it might be time to start to go down, at least to our first target, right, area, or stopping point, or top-up point. So it all depends. You see, on the smaller charts, you can't really see it very well. That's why I always go to bigger charts to see what is going to happen and what we want to look for. So first of all, that's what I'm going to draw, the bottom of this wing. So that would be one of the important levels to see. If it will try to break, then I would hope it will continue go to this way, right? At least half of the pattern to work out before it will possibly continue there. I'm not talking about 1 week, right? We're just now looking ahead what can happen, so we can prepare and try to get for some trades. Now we're going on the smaller charts, and we can see, well, what I can try to do is to create that, well, let's say beginning of these downtrend movements, right? So I can use the stops, right, already. So plus minus, remember about that. So roughly I can use it like this. I don't have a proper bottom yet, right? Well, I'm taking this, which is from this shoulder, right? So roughly, let's say. So what's my expectation now? Well, let's say if it will create like a flag or pennant, what do I have? I only have about 40, roughly 40 pips to the next level. Then maybe possible it will go and like create a bit of consolidation, something around, and then it would be placing the orders, of course, still buy and sell, because yes, it does look like it might be creating head and shoulders. And of course the first thought would be if we will do have here something, we will place the orders and we should continue way down, right? But as I'm saying, in Forex it's never 100% of anything. It's a very good opportunity, very good chance for it, yes, going down. But if it's a shoulder, then it's possibly we would see a little bit of maybe sitting and coming out from here a little bit, right? Maybe first it will come out and will consolidate around here, because we do have to remember about this shoulder height. So this is where the shoulder height. So if it will create, it might go a little bit down here, right? So if I would think about go for this trade, then I would have to have in mind first it might be stopped here first by the shoulder level, right? So it might go down a little bit here, then it might come back again to about the height of the shoulder first. So might sit around here a little bit, maybe this week, maybe a little bit longer, who knows? And then possibly it will break and then go, well, possibly at least to this level. So we would have about 130, well, about 100 pips looking in a 100 pip trade. So that's how I would look a little bit more telling you about head and shoulders, as I didn't have a video for head and shoulders pattern, but this is how I usually look at it. And of course, if it is not head and shoulders, then there is always, it could be one wave, it could be second wave, and it could be third wave, right? So it could be just breaking and continue all the way, go to the next high, right? Next level, higher than the previous high. But at this moment, let's look at it like it is a head and shoulders, right? So that's how I would look at Australian dollar and dollar. So you see, this is our little consolidation already started, so we will walking around those levels, right? Those levels. So that's what I will be looking for. Of course, again, if it will jump straight away to here, then it will be sitting around here. Then again, remember, because it could be shoulder, once again repeating, then it could break straight away possibly. But if it's head and shoulders, shoulder could be still coming back again from that. That's why there is still opportunity would be, for example, to go for buy trade, right? To see if it will actually go to the height. It's a little bit still higher than that level. So here we are. Remember, I'm not drawing it, so don't want to have too many levels around this picture. Just remember about this. this is where we are. It could be here, it could be here. Because of those wings, it could be even higher, that wing, even a little bit higher, because they're not always that symmetrical. But just bear in mind, so very good opportunity could be for good trades. Okay, so this is Australian dollar. This is my look and view on that pair. Now going to dollar yen. So dollar yen is a 4-hour chart right now. I'm showing you a bigger picture because remember we had also previously I pointed out of head and shoulders, and now we reached the level, let's say the bottom of the pattern. So at that point I can say it worked out. So the pattern is done, pattern is finished, and that's why now I would think, of course, that possibly it's starting to have a recovery, right? The one thing keep in mind that possibly it will start to go up at the same time. If the market is going to be unsure, then is it possible that it might sit around here for a while before it will pick the direction, because after the pattern, if there are no like other major news or any clarity or anything else, then it's always would think before it will make decision which way to go. So, and this is what exactly happened after it worked out. Now we're going in a smaller chart. After, you see, that's how it was. That's what I was mentioning to you in the previous week. This is where it was. So it went down a bit straight away, sit around this level, which I was saying it has a room to get to that level and possibly to that. That's exactly what happened, just exactly what I expected. And for me, there would be no trades. I wouldn't go for those trades because, as I'm saying, the pattern finished and it was not clear. Will it be trying to change the direction? Will it be trying a bit of consolidation before? This is exactly what it started. It started to sit around this area. You see, around this area. So the news, again, you see, it's prepared again, another perfect preparation for the news event. So I would go for this trade. You see, it's seated around this area for mostly all week. It's prepared a very nice little channel here. We're going again in the 15-minute chart, a bit better picture and longer channel, and also around most important level. And also it's created a little head and shoulders too, upside down. You see, head and shoulders, an upside down head and shoulders with perfect walk out around this level, which is the length of the downtrend and the length of the uptrend, the news event. So it's another perfect, let's see what it is, another perfect 80 pips, which is will give me at least 50 pips of 40-50 pips of the profit, right? So that was also a perfect possibility. And just like I'm saying now, with dollar yen, it depends what is going to happen. It is sitting here. Maybe I would expect it to sit around here a little bit if there is not clarity, or maybe it will continue finally its way up, changing the direction. So could be again one way or another. Wherever it moves, it's always a winner. So of course, went up now. Any consolidation, good level again possible. Sit around here, pennant or flag. And of course, either going up or either going down. We still have, well, right from the another 80 pips up and, well, about 70, well, maybe it will be breaking. It's about 80 pips down. So it's between, so about 50 pips possible to go and get the profit. And of course, then depends if it will consolidate again, buy and sell both directions. If it will sit here, consolidate around this one, also both directions, buy and sell orders. So that's it, easy. So now going to dollar CAD, and with dollar CAD, what do we have? Kind of changing the direction again, where it was again. You see, important level. It didn't break it, right? So went up, went down a bit, went up. So this is 4-hour chart, so you can see a bit better picture. I think this is going to remove now. I don't need that. And we can see, well, let's just see what happened on the small. Actually, I think I'll bring it back. No, I can't bring it back now. Well, we had a level here, so I just removed it a little bit too early because it was right around this area. So for some of you, possibly you would go for trade, like breaking the level and go to that. For me, I wouldn't use it. So because again, very close to the news event, even though it's change direction, we have a little bit of looking like a double bottom. Oh, there is we have a back. So let's just see on the smaller chart. Did it have it? No, okay. So the level was right here. That's what I'm saying. You see, but it's Monday again when it's broke it, right? But because I had the false break before, that's why I wouldn't go personally for that trade. You see, it's broke, it's come back, went up again, come back. So it was trying to break this area a few times. So then it could have been possible, like if you would go for this trade, of course the stop would be quite far away. I would even say below that level, below that channel, somewhere around here, the stop. Yeah, so because with breaking the quite important levels, you would expect quite big movements. So I would expect, and bigger stops. So that's why I'm saying now I don't need these levels anymore. So we'll be looking for change in the direction possibly, right? So we do have first we do have a little bit of those ones, but also we have this big top. So well, possibly it will be of course, let's leave it like that, but do not forget about this also. So we have a room, right? And so okay, let's see how it prepared for the news event. And it had also not bad channel and prepared for the news event. So it's not too bad, and it was about 80 pips, which is also about 50 pips, right, of possible profit. I'm going to remove also that level, as you see it's also broke it, which also could have been used for placing the trades, but personally I wouldn't. So you know, I do like more a bit straighter channels or better patterns. So right now is it moved up, and I would be looking again for flag or pennant pattern here. So just anything around this area, and then continue. Possibly we see about 70 pips. Well, you could also ignore that top and just continue that way, but roughly let's say 70 pips up and about 90 pips down. So roughly, if it will go around it, maybe it will be a little bit straighter. So again, possibilities for placing the orders both directions, either up or down. So of course right now it's an uptrend, more rings the bell that it should continue the uptrend. So let's see on the weekly chart would be better view. You see that bottom is quite important. So you see it didn't even try to break it. It did come out a little bit on the smaller chart, but you see in the bigger chart there is nothing here. So yes, it does look like it's turning around, and possibly it will start to have a correction, right? Correction. So there is possibility. That's why. But on the smaller charts, you see it always can go both directions. So for a little bit, for smaller trades, smaller profits, also possibilities always. And we'll have, you see, would be my next area. So again, if it will open with jump either up or down, then I would wait for it to go to any of those levels and then create something nice and reasonable around those levels, and then placing the orders from them. But let's say if it will open on Monday, so then we'll be looking for pennant or flag pattern around here. Okay, dollar CAD was also easy. Euro pound, that's okay. How I was saying to you that it was sitting in quite flat, and it was also continuing before the news for pound. It had a movement, good movement, but personally for me, I wouldn't go for trade with euro pound. There were good opportunities with the other pairs. It was a little bit risky for me, except at this moment it does continue the way just as expected. Again, from the previous my weekly views, when I told you, remember, it does look like one movement and looks like it's a flag. And my first point was, of course, that will continue the way, at least to that high, right? So I would still think, expecting it to continue that way, to go on a bigger chart, to create a double top, which would be a monthly, would be better, you see. Then I would still see it that way, just as the first thought was, still see it that way before it possibly would turn around. So still a room to get there. So at this moment it does exactly as expected, so just perfect. But I wouldn't go for trades. I wouldn't go for that trade. So what for this week, if we would see pound continue nice, of course, way of going down, and of course, well, euro, it still does look like going a little bit up. I would see maybe slowly it will continue to get to that area. So for example, if to go for trade again, waiting for consolidation around this area, for consolidation, and then placing the orders both directions, because yes, just like I was telling you in here, was expectation of continue the trend up today, but you know, any can happen with Forex, it can turn around. Of course, again, it could be messy here because both pairs can go down, like in euro and pound can go. Depends again what is going to happen, what the news is going to be. So then yes, it could possibly go slowly down maybe, then maybe up again. So that's why, okay, let's concentrate on this area, see if it will create nice straight pattern, nice flag or pennant, and then up to you if you would want to risk it and go for any trades. And at the same time, if we do expect this to continue to that level, let's see if we can draw something just to see if that would go down, how far it will go. If it is, would be a little bit of the correction. So let's say, can I do something like that? Possibly yes, because we have lots of the tops here. I have one bottom, so you see that it's quite possible that it could be, it can turn around a little bit to get to that. Depends, maybe slowly get that way and then continue in that channel possibly to get to the target area, let's say, right? So I don't really like it much, but I think I'm going to leave it just to see if it will do something like that, because as I'm saying, if it will create something in here, maybe a little bit higher than expected to go down, of course, don't forget about here, it still can be maybe stopped by here, because let's say a little bit narrower, yeah, a bit narrow like this. Never forget about that. You can like go and then stop by this level, right, and go up and finally reach that area. Could be doing it that way. So that's, we look always, I look at any possibilities what can happen. So if it will jump or something possibly maybe higher, waiting for any consolidation, maybe it will be jumping again with the opening market jump down. I would wait, I would rather wait for it to come to at least something, have a little bit of support in here, and then placing the orders, right? So I guess hope you got the idea of what I would be looking for. Okay, so euro pound is done. Now we're going to gold. Interesting things with gold, and here it's also a 4-hour chart, so you can see a little bit bigger picture. I'm going to remove also that downtrend channel because we don't need it anymore. So we want a clear picture. I'm removing that, and I'm removing this, so you can see it's a bit clear screen. We have this very nice level. Remember, also I drew it, and market stopped here. Let's go on a smaller chart a bit, so we'll see a bit better picture here. And that's what I was telling you. Okay, let's go on a bigger one so you can see where it is. You see that level is quite strong. I was telling you, it was sitting in here before, and it came to that area again. And it's an important area. Will it break it or not? That's the point. Pointed out. Will it break it? If it will break it, my view would be it will go all the way. Of course, this would be the next possibility. If it will break that, I would see it going right to here at least, right? As it was previously. And if it will not break, then of course it will go down, possibly will be stopped maybe by this, maybe it will be a little correction, and then it will go. Or it might go down and even break that and get to that area. So again, with gold, possibilities to place both directions orders and get some trades. But this week, how I would work with this, you see, for example, when it's created this nice channel, nice looking channel, but it was a bit away from that level and a bit away from that. So for me, it would have been risky. I wouldn't go for trade, right? And this is exactly what happened. You see, if you would go for this break-in, it was stopped by what? Exactly the levels. So that's the important things. I'm reminding you, it's a bit longer videos, but so you would understand every time what to look for. And even here, it's broke it, come out, but didn't even go to that level. And the same next day was messy, and this actually had a false break here, went up again and sit back to this level. And here is the best preparation before the news. We have one level, and to go on the smaller charts, With gold, I would prefer not to use really 15-minute charts, but a bit bigger charts. Let's say 30 minutes was good. So here we go. You see, again, we have very nice channel in here, which was starting even from the beginning of the week, and you can see how it's prepared. So it was a good 130, which would be another 100, clear 100 pips. I bet it would be at least 100 pips, so it could be a little bit low, but if it was 140, then a very good trade. You can see this is what I would be looking for. So of course, with placing the both directions is usually, even with the news event, yes, that when it come here, you would have expected it's either going up or expecting going down. So I would be placing orders both directions, but with this, because it's like really far from those levels, then probably my point would have been to place the orders a little bit higher than those levels, to break those levels first and then continue, because they were like really strong, and with the news event they could have been stopped by those levels again. So that's why, for example, with gold, I would trade a bit different compared to the other pairs. So I would have placed in my orders somewhere above those levels, just a little bit telling you the views how I would go for it. So another 100 pips. So you see, it's already, we have about 500 pips at least in profit with no losing trades. All simple levels and news. Nothing new, just everything the same. So okay, let's see what we're going to do now with gold. So of course, the first thing is, just as I said to you, on the bigger channels, it's broke, and yes, it's possibly might have a bit of a correction and go down maybe to this level, right? And then we will be playing around this area. But at this moment, again, is it had a nice drop, and now looking for any consolidation. So if it's drop, maybe again flag or pennant, continue down, right? Or of course, maybe it just was the news event affected, and it could have again create something nice in here and go back to those levels. So that's why I would see if it will create something around here, and I would go for both directions, place orders both directions. And if it will go back and try to sit around this area or something, I would go again for both directions orders. But my main thought would be that it will possibly continue go up. If it will break those levels, then I would think it will continue go up. But as I'm saying, dollar was going down for a very long time, and now of course it can all turn around. Depends again, you know, political events. Listen what is happening in America, all the news. What's going on, because it's so unpredictable at this moment. Yes, technical analysis is very helpful, plus the news altogether, you see how it works. So it does work, still working well. So that's how I would look at gold, right? So both directions. And pound yen now, okay, so this is another for those of you who are trading it, that level I had from the previous week, and we have this channel. And you see there's going down channel, and what you could do around those areas is, of course, first Monday. That's what I'm saying to you, Monday is usually the watching day. Yes, it's broke, but where it was stopped by this important level. Didn't have enough strength to go further, right? So that's why I would say this was a false break. Right, so it's broke it, and then it's come back into this area again. I mean, even with this break, it depends how you trade, where you place. It was about 40 pips. You see, when it was a little bit, if you go for trade and you see it start to create something like this, consolidate, I would usually come out from the trade with a little profit at least, or break even. Because when it start to be like this, it would always think there is no enough strength for volatility on the market, that it thinks if it might change anytime, it might change the direction, either go up or possibly can continue way down, but it's always risky. You see, well, it did here, so some might sit on the floating loss or anything, waiting for when it's come back, but I don't usually like to keep floating trades, negative floating trades. So yes, it went up. You see, it was sitting here again, And of course, you would think, what's going to happen this week? The news event for pound, waiting for pound news events, further news events for yen maybe. Well, possibly. And here it is. It went up. It's broke this level. So, well, okay, could be possibly some, maybe little trade in here or something. But of course, the preparation for news event. And you see, if this break depends. It's broke our one level. It's broke another level. So it got down and stopped around this area. So you see, this is a now, could be, depends where you would go. Well, let's take just this little part, which is also still about 90 pips. So it's about now plus 50 pips, easy. So that's how it worked out this week, pretty well. And it still sits in this downtrend channel. Remember, we had a double top, and it still looks like a triangle, so it didn't get out, didn't break out. So right now, what I see, there is again creating anything around this area. Possibly it might continue slowly without any consolidation or stopping. So well, if for some of you're in a trade, then probably just sit in a trade, maybe placing some stops again with the plus, of course, and see if it will continue the way down. Maybe it will turn around, have a bit of the consolidation, and then of course it could be the direction again, either go down to this, would be like next target, or going back up to this area, right back to our triangle on the bigger chart we saw. At the same time, I want to point out what else possibly could be also could be, if you look, it went up, that okay, let's say that's our double top. Let's count it as one top, one bottom, and then possibly this like one top, and this could be also the bottom, that it looks like it could be triangle, right? So could be a triangle. We have on a bigger chart triangle, but this also might end up as a triangle, because what is bothering me here is that top which come out here and then went down back again, and this is about the same area. So I don't know, well, possibly let's just see what the picture could be looking like. So something like that, right? And something like that. So just want to point out this like this. So it could be possibly, so you see, maybe this would be stopping and something creating maybe like a triangle, so like that. I can see the possibility of something like this, right? So that's what it needs to bear in mind when we'll be deciding for go for any trades around this area. I'm going to remove this, and if you see on the bigger picture, you see this is the big triangle, we like really big one, right, from the bigger trade, and that looking for me little bit a possibility of a little bit of the triangle inside here. So even with that level, maybe like a little bit higher than this, you can see. Let's do it like this on the bigger chart. So just bear in mind that, just to see what is going to happen here, right? So it could be slowing down in here, slowing down, and maybe it will go like this, right? So I guess you understand what I'm trying to say here. That what I would pay attention on this to see. Well, yeah, of course it could possibly go. Then if it will continue, then for me it would be just a continuation of this double top. But as I'm saying, a little bit bother me this. It was too far. If it would stay in here, it would have been a bit more of the downtrend. But because it went up a little bit higher, and it looks like two tops and one bottom already, then possibly it could be a triangle. So that's how I see it. Okay, guys, so that's all for now. I hope it was useful for many of you. If you really like the video, of course, don't forget to subscribe, like, maybe share with your other friends, and happy trading, and I see you next week. Bye, everyone.